Okay, welcome to week 5 of semester 2. We are officially nearing the end of The Great Gatsby. There are 9 chapters in the book, and we are going to be reading chapter 7 this week. Chapter 7 is by far the craziest chapter, and it is also the longest chapter, so we're only going to be able to tackle this one this week because it's going to take us the full week to do so, since it is so long, and I don't want to sit for an hour and a half and read. So on Monday, we are going to go over the predictions and hot takes that you did on sticky notes. It was interesting seeing different patterns and seeing what people noticed and how there were some things that only one person said or how there were a couple things that multiple people thought. So we're going to be taking a look at that in class, and then we will be starting chapter 7. On Monday, we won't necessarily do any slides because we just need to get into the chapter and it's a short, all meet Monday. So we won't really be starting any slides at that point, but we will be reading. And then on Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to continue reading. We'll watch some of the scenes from the movie because, again, this is the longest portion of the movie and the book. For part of the slides, we're going to be looking at Gatsby versus Tom. So, chapter 7 is when everything kind of comes to a point. It's what is called a scenic method, so a narrative technique that is often employed by F. Scott Fitzgerald, but it's created by American novelist Henry James. The scenic method means that the author presents a series of scenes from which the reader can draw their own conclusions about the character and events, as opposed to the author just spelling things out. So, in the conversation in the scene that we are reading and seeing for chapter 7, there's a lot of information that is revealed, a lot of dialogue that is exchanged, and the way that it's written is for you to kind of interpret who is in the right, who is in the wrong, that kind of thing. So the conflict between Gatsby and Tom that culminates in the Plaza Hotel, the showdown as they call it, is developed primarily through this method. So what you're going to be doing as we read, or you could choose to also do this as we're watching the movie, on the provided tracking sheet, which will be the next slide, you're going to be interpreting the action and the dialogue to determine who is winning this kind of argument. Is it Gatsby or Tom? Using a plus sign or a negative sign. So you'll put a plus sign, negative sign, and then something that they did. An example would be plus 1 point for Gatsby when Daisy says, "He looks so cool," which is apparently code for "I love you," meaning like, oh, Gatsby kind of, it's a tug of war essentially, like who's winning Daisy in this situation. And then our analysis questions. After tracking the showdown, I want you to tell me what was the turning point in the showdown when it became apparent that Gatsby was not necessarily going to win the confrontation, or at least that's what we see. When Gatsby declares that Daisy never loved Tom and asks Daisy to tell Tom this, Daisy answers indirectly and then later says, "I never loved him," but with some reluctance. So why does Daisy answer indirectly and then state it reluctantly? Like what's going on here? Why does Gatsby need her to say this? And then on Thursday and Friday, we will be finishing the chapter as well as the scenes. And then if we have time, which I think we will, we're going to do some speed debating. Normally when I do this, I would like rearrange the desks so that you're literally sitting in like a speed dating fashion where there's 2 desks facing each other in a long line, but I don't want to reorganize my room, so we'll probably just go out into the hallway or into the stairwell to do this. So for chapter 7, what each character is thinking, feeling, or experiencing after the accident. I want you to tell me from Gatsby's point of view, Tom, so on and so forth. Tell me their thoughts, their feelings. How do you know that that's how they're feeling? I need you to use at least one piece of textual evidence per character to support your ideas. So we got all of these 5 characters. And then to end the week, you're going to make a prediction now knowing what's happened in chapter 7. With different characters' reactions. What do you think is going to happen in chapter 8? Like, how is this story going to wind down? Who is going to do something? What are they going to do? Tell me a prediction that you have. And that is it for week 5. If you have any questions, let me know.